Oh man, I've been so excited to do this podcast. So excited to ring in another edition of the Thomas Take Sports Podcast. What's up, everybody? I'm Ryan Thomas, coming to you live from Buffalo, New York. And yep, you heard that right. Buffalo, New York. One Buffalo, the best city in New York. Because it's actually in New York. When New York City is outside of New York State. It's tucked away. New Jersey, the armpit of America. No offense to New Jersey. I actually got a lot of props for New Jersey. The boardwalk, all of that. Great people. Great Italian people. You know, so many awesome people in New Jersey. But it's nothing against the people. It's against the teams that actually represent these areas. It's always baffled me as a sports fan that you have three teams that are comprised of the geographic region known as New York State. The Buffalo Bills, who play in New York but don't play in Buffalo. They play in Orchard Park, which is a suburb of Buffalo. Then you have the New York Giants, who play in East Rutherford, New Jersey. Then you have the New York Jets, who play in the same stadium as the Giants in East Rutherford, New Jersey. So I've said this for so many years. Buffalo, the Bills, are the only team that plays in New York. They're the only New York team, and they don't even play in Buffalo. They play in Orchard Park. It's so odd to me. I've always found that fascinating. Ever since I was a little kid, I've always found that to be extremely intriguing that's the case. But it is the case. And the subject matter is it represents who I will always refer to as the New Jersey Jets. The New York Jets, that's what the majority of the public knows them as. They know them as the New York Jets, but I'm going to refer to them as the New Jersey Jets, always and forever, because they don't play in New York. They play in New Jersey, so therefore, you know, to me, they're the New Jersey Jets. Being that they actually play in a state, Buffalo can still be called Buffalo because they play in a suburb of Buffalo, and let's just go on a limb here. If you're not from Buffalo, chances are you don't know that there's little towns that make up the western New York region, towns like Orchard Park, West Seneca, North Tonawanda, Lewiston, Niagara Falls, Lockport, my hometown. For those of you that don't know, my home place. There's a lot of little towns inside of the western New York region. So Buffalo is a small enough region to where you can still be called Buffalo, because most people don't even know that a city named Orchard Park even exists. So that is thrown out there. But the New Jersey Jets actually play in the state of New Jersey. And there I go again, calling the Jets the New Jersey Jets. I'm going to call the Jets the New Jersey Jets so much that other people are going to start calling the New York Jets the New Jersey Jets, as they should. So there you have it. The New Jersey Jets have one of the most ridiculous off seasons in recent memory. I cannot wait to sink my teeth into this, to slam this franchise, to just throw every which way of shade or hate or whatever you guys want to refer to it as. The Jets Nation out there that wants to listen to this podcast and say, I'm just a hater, I'm just this. I'm just a straight up fact teller. I'm just a straight up God's honest truth. Tell it like I see it. Call it like I see it. Spoken from my lips to your ears. The New Jersey Jets are a disaster. This is a true joke of an offseason. Granted, 1 year ago, when the New York Jets decided to draft Sam Darnold, I thought, great, good for them. They got their guy. A guy that, frankly, I didn't think would be there. A guy that I thought would be the first overall pick by the Cleveland Browns. They showed up at his pro day. Jimmy Haslam talking to Sam Darnold's parents while Sam Darnold's dropping dimes in pouring rain. I thought, okay, This is a fit. This is going to happen. And then all of a sudden, Baker Mayfield becomes the guy leading up days before the draft. And the Cleveland Browns, they get their guy as well, taking Baker Mayfield. And at the time, I looked at that as a true reach. I think I always will, due to the fact that I thought Darnold was a better fit there, but maybe he wasn't. Maybe I was wrong. Blah, 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 whatever. Call me wrong on that one. I'm more than willing to say I was wrong when I'm wrong. But I just thought that Darnold was going to go there. Bigger, stronger. I just thought he was going to go there. He didn't. He did not. But I thought he was. And that's my mistake. More than willing to accept that. But Sam Darnold goes to the New York Jets. And before I dive into that, I thought that the Jets would get one of these guys. I thought they'd get Mayfield, Darnold, Allen maybe, or even Josh Rosen. Maybe they would go Josh Rosen. I'd heard a lot of reports saying that they love Sam Darnold, they love Josh Rosen, but if Darnold's available, that Darnold would go there. But if Darnold's not available, maybe they go Mayfield, and then the battle would be Mayfield to Rosen, or who would bring more moxie to the city? It would definitely be Mayfield. Rosen wasn't really the sexy pick. Neither was Josh Allen, due to the true hate that was thrown on him during the pre-draft process in 2018. But nonetheless, the Jets got their guy, the Browns got their guy, the Bills got their guy, the Cardinals got their guy a year later, and traded Josh Rosen away to Miami, who is willing to take a flyer on Josh Rosen for this season as he battles Ryan Fitzpatrick for the starting quarterback job. Former Bill, former Jet, now Dolphin. We'll see what happens with that. But I think it's safe to say that the Jets do have a good quarterback. They do have a guy that can make plays, make throws, extend plays with his feet, make things happen, and be a quarterback that they could lean on for many years to come. Darnold is a good quarterback. He's got a lot of intangibles that make him elite. He's big, he's strong, he's got a great arm, great accuracy, very smart with in terms of reading defenses. I think he's a little bit ahead of even Mayfield, although Mayfield had a much better rookie year. He's definitely ahead of Allen in that aspect. Can make the throws short, deep. Before I dive into and pretty much chastise this organization, I want to say that Sam Darnold is a great player. He does have a lot of skills within his skill set that make me think that he is a good player. But the New York Jets, New Jersey Jets, have done everything possible this offseason to sabotage their quarterback, to put training wheels on their quarterback, to completely slow his progression. And I'll start with the very first idea that makes me believe this. In my heart of hearts, I don't have a rooting interest against Sam Darnold. I don't have a rooting interest against the Jets even. Do I want to see the Jets do well as a Buffalo Bills fan? No. But as a football podcast host, I look at each team and give my God's honest take on how this team should do it better, in my opinion, or how they're doing it wrong, in my opinion. And the Jets have gotten this so wrong this offseason from their head coaching hire, Adam Gase. Wow. That was the first bomb that was dropped by the Jets this offseason, that Adam Gase would be their head coach. I thought to myself, wow, it cannot get much worse than that. Adam Gase. This guy has done remotely nothing to prove that he deserved another shot as an NFL head coach. So many coaches, Rex Ryan, Jeff Fisher, recent examples of coaches that did not deserve a second opportunity with another head coaching opportunity. They did not deserve that second shot, and yet they get that shot. And what do they do with that shot? They do nothing with that shot, and they're out of the league within 2 years. The leash should be shorter, you would think. It was shorter for Rex Ryan. It was shorter for guys like Lovie Smith. inexplicably, it wasn't short enough for guys like Jeff Fisher, and inexplicably for the Jets, they are already putting themselves in a massive corner with Adam Gase as their possible long-term solution to their head coaching position. Let me just take my swig of water here. So how can anyone convince me in their right mind? You know what teams need coaches. You knew Todd Bowles was a goner, okay? You knew that he was done. You knew the time was up. But after that, you know what type of candidates these teams should be looking for. Todd Bowles, a defensive coach. Defense was really the focus. They want the offense to be the focus. The Jets haven't hired an offensive-style coach in a long time. That dates back to Rex Ryan, dates back to Herm Edwards, dates back to a lot of coaches prior to that. They hadn't hired an offensive coach in a while. So they were looking for an offensive coach. Fine. Granted, some of the offensive head coaches or head coaching candidates that were from the offensive side of the ball were not that great. And some of those guys got head coaching jobs. Matt LaFleur, very unproven, very risky hire. Cliff Kingsbury? What? For Arizona? What? Then Zach Taylor of the Cincinnati Bengals, essentially a Sean McVay clipboard holder? I mean, quarterback's coach to a guy that froze in the Super Bowl, that kept looking up at the scoreboard, noticing that the score wasn't changing, but didn't do a damn thing to change it in their favor? That coach of that player gets a head coaching job in Cincinnati? That's the guy that everyone was waiting for while they waited for Cincinnati to fire Marvin Lewis? That's the guy that you celebrate over? It's a head scratcher, to say the least. And I would have looked at offensive coordinators that maybe had even been out of the league for a couple years, that maybe had moved over to college football, or maybe take an offensive coordinator from your divisional rivals. Offensive coordinator that, or from an AFC rival. An offensive coordinator, maybe a Brian Daboll. Granted, he'd only spent one season in Buffalo. Granted, he'd only coached in New England on 3 Super Bowl championship staffs, 2 national championship Alabama staffs. Thankfully, as a Buffalo Bills fan, they didn't go out and didn't go out and hire Brian Daboll, because that would have sucked for Josh Allen's progression. But I'm not saying the Jets should have hired Brian Daboll, but I would much more appreciate a guy that had never had an opportunity to be a head coach, rather than a guy that was just fired by your division rival. You know why he was fired. You played that team twice this season. Why would you go back to the well and bring in a coach like Adam Gase? I don't get it. Then you have the Mike McGagan, whatever the heck his name was, GM, that wanted to really go out there this free agency, this offseason, and make a lot of moves to benefit the Jets immediately. Immediate impact players. That's always a phrase that is thrown around by NFL analysts, by GMs, coaches, everyone. We want immediate impact guys. We want guys that can come into the building, take the ownership, take the job, and do everything they can to get better and to be faces of the team. Well, if you want guys to come in and be faces of the team and be these great players, I don't know. The last guy, if you want a guy that wants to come in and be a leader, be a face of the franchise, be all these great things, then why the hell would you go out and sign Le'Veon Bell? That's the last guy I would want on my team, with a second-year quarterback, with a fresh coaching staff. Granted, Adam Gase isn't fresh, but that's the last guy I would want if I'm Adam Gase. And if the reports are true that Adam Gase didn't want Le'Veon Bell, that's the only thing Adam Gase has been right about so far as the New York Jets head coach thus far, and it's a very big deal, and that might be the only thing that we can measure as whether him being right or wrong, because the draft, happened, but we don't know what we're going to get out of those guys yet. But something actually substantial, something actually concrete, we know that Adam Gase does not want Le'Veon Bell on that team, but they just signed him to a 4-year deal. He's one of the highest paid running backs of all time. He sat out a full season. He quit on his teammates in Pittsburgh, much to the chagrin of James Conner, who took the opportunity and literally ran with it into the end zone. Fit that team like a glove. Played with Big Ben, played with Juju Smith-Schuster. Then you have this crybaby posting Instagram workout videos saying, pay me my money or I'm not playing. Why would you want that guy? Why would you want that guy? So that whole aftermath of the GM then gets fired because Adam Gase didn't want Le'Veon Bell. Well, the GM's gone now. Now it's up to Adam Gase and the advisors and staff to hire the right coach. Or not right coach, the right GM. Immediately what they do, they say to themselves, well, we just fired our GM. And now we need to find out who our GM is going to be. We need someone in the organization currently, though, to help us find that GM. So if the coach and the GM are going to be working hand in hand, we want the coach to find that guy that he can work with. Someone that he knows, preferably. Someone that he respects and someone that respects him. The first name that is thrown out there is a name that we all love, a name that would bring great intrigue to their team, a name that would really provide them with the fluff that they need for their fan base. Because right now the New York Jets fan base is pissed off. They're curious. They don't understand what's going on. So the Jets dangle this carrot out in front of their fans, and the fans nibble on it and eat the whole carrot, take a whole bite out of that carrot. And that carrot is Peyton Manning. They say, well, Peyton Manning, he has a relationship with Adam Gase. Peyton Manning's looking to break into the business of football. He's very interested in taking on the opportunity, possibly. Peyton, don't do it. Don't do it. Stay away. Do not sign up for this. It is a shit show. It is a dumpster fire. It is not worth the time. Furthermore, we've seen former players at the quarterback position come in to be vice presidents or GMs or whatever fancy word you want to throw on it and be terrible at their job and ruin their luster as themselves. And yeah, John Elway, great quarterback, one of the best quarterbacks of all time, but then Denver gives him an opportunity to be a general manager, be a VP. The only quarterback that he got that was worth a damn was the last 4 years of Peyton Manning's career. Trevor Siemian, Zach Dysert, Brock Osweiler, Case Keenum. If I didn't say Trevor Siemian. Paxton Lynch. I mean, some true busts on that side of the ball. But then you look at the defensive side of the ball. The side of the ball that John Elway studied viciously checked the tape, rolled the highlight film. And Denver's drafted maybe even some future Hall of Famers on that defense. Guys like Von Miller. I mean, Von Miller, Chris Harris, they've drafted some true studs on that defense for the last few years. So I think that if Peyton were to become a general manager, maybe his best days as a GM wouldn't be how he evaluates offensive talent, but it would be how he evaluates defensive talent, and the Jets would get better on defense. But really, the only reason why Peyton's name is really being thrown out there is because it's known around the league that he has a great relationship with Adam Gase. Okay, what if, just by some chance, Peyton Manning is elated with his retirement? He's got the ESPN Plus show. He's been on, all these shows being Peyton Manning. Everybody loves him. Why would you walk away from that? Why would you dedicate your time to working with Adam Gase, to making the New York Jets better, when Peyton has no ties to the New York Jets whatsoever, other than whooping their ass for 20 years of his NFL career, or 18 and 19 years, however long he played, and that's it? Well, because he's really good friends with Adam Gase. Let's take you inside the friendship of Adam Gase and Peyton Manning. Let's go look at how long this friendship actually lasted. He was the quarterback's coach in 2010 to 2012. He was the offensive coordinator from 2013 to 2014. So you have that, okay? Then you have Peyton Manning, who came along as the Broncos quarterback at a time where they really needed somebody to come in and take over. Really needed that guy. So 2012 to 2015, Peyton Manning comes along. So he was his quarterback's coach and his offensive coordinator in Denver. That means that this franchise, known as the New York Jets, that play in New Jersey, think that based off of a 3-4 year relationship, that Peyton Manning should be the GM of the New York Jets. Peyton Manning has no front office experience. Not that that matters. We've seen guys come in and do pretty well. John Lynch, I think, has had some hits, has had some misses, but they think that that's the guy that can come in and make that team great. I don't get it. I don't think, and I love Peyton Manning to death. I really do. He's one of my favorite quarterbacks ever. I think he's top. I think he's the second best quarterback ever, behind Tom Brady. I mean, his numerous career achievements. But why would you leave the Peyton Manning post-football life for that? For Le'Veon Bell? For a city that really is just... I mean, the fans are horrible as far as how they follow the team, how they react to the team, because the team is horrible. The team has made horrible decisions. The team has let these fans down. But the Jets fans are notoriously known for being ruthless at away games. Been to a Bills away games versus the Jets. Been to Bills games with the Jets. And their fans are terrible. I mean, their fans, the way they act at games is really bad. And that's coming from a Buffalo Bills fan. Maybe the Buffalo Bills fans like to get a little rowdy. Maybe they like to celebrate and have fun and party. Jets fans are miserable. They're buzzkills. They are just nasty. And that is just, I'm talking game day experience. I'm not talking every single Jets fan. I'm talking game day Jets fans they're just very salty over their franchise. And it's like, I'll say this right now, and I know Buffalo Bills fans would hate to hear it. The Jets have had more success this century than the Bills have. I went to 2 straight AFC Championship games with Mark Sanchez. So that's tough to swallow. And if the Jets really want to be taken seriously, they would bring in a GM that has the credentials to recognize that Adam Gase should have never been hired in the first place. This team is heading down a downward trajectory, and Sam Darnold will falter for it. And I feel so bad for him. I feel like he's a great player. I feel like he's a player that is going to be great in this league. But I wondered back last year, whichever quarterback was drafted by the New York Jets was going to be drafted into a real crappy situation. Because the ownership's a mess, the front office is a mess, and the head coach is a mess. Better grab a broom, because it's a mess. Known as the New Jersey Jets.